Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of House of Hummingbird, a Korean drama film from 2018 that has been on my watch list for a few years now because it earned a lot of critical praise when it hit the festival circuit. Now, the Well Go USA website has the following official plot synopsis. House of Hummingbird is a critically acclaimed coming-of-age drama directed by Bora Kim and set in South Korea. Positioned against the backdrop of a rapidly expanding Seoul in 1994, a lonely 14-year-old Yoon-hee moves through life like a hummingbird, searching for a taste of sweetness wherever she may find it. Deprived of attention from her own family, she roams the neighborhood with her best friend, attempts romantic relationships, and is sent to the hospital with an unclear diagnosis. Now, when new teacher Young-ji arrives, she becomes the first adult Yoon-hee feels really understands her. So that plot synopsis is pretty conventional stuff, but its execution is really special. The execution is what makes House of Hummingbird so good. This movie is so well made that I found it pretty captivating from start to finish. Now, we see right from the start that our protagonist, she's a bit dim, to be kind, okay? I mean, right, the opening scene, she, accidentally goes to the wrong apartment instead of her own. And her school abilities are pretty lacking as well. And the pressures of schooling in Korea is intense. And that is showcased in a sequence where a teacher makes a class of students chant the line, "Instead of karaoke, I'll go to Seoul National University," makes them chant it over and over again. And the kids really aren't that happy about it. And to make matters worse, Yoon-hee's home life is pretty stressful, because her father basically complains all the time and is psychologically abusive. Her mother is always kind of gloomy and lacking in energy, and her brother doesn't even treat her that well either. I mean, it's not an evil household or anything, but it's just so uncomfortable being there, even as a viewer. There's never any sense of comfort there for our protagonist, which makes her more reliant on finding affection from outside of her home. Now, House of Hummingbird has a very realistic feel to it. It's shot mostly with handheld camera work, which gives it that added rawness and documentary style presentation. And outside of the main dramatic and thematic elements, there are lots and lots of little moments and interaction between the characters that gives them a lot of realism. For example, I like the fun moments between our protagonist and her friend. This film has a certain intimacy to it, almost as if the viewer is a fly on the wall, watching this girl's daily life and her interactions with other people. There's some really good dialogue in this film as well. I like some of the discussions with her and her teacher were very good, and I like the conversation between her and her friend when they discuss how they would get revenge on their brothers because they keep hitting them all the time. That was actually a pretty good discussion. I like the the friendly relationship with that new teacher. She really attempts to relate to the protagonist, and it's always, very inspiring to see a teacher who cares about their students. It's quite wholesome, right? So you get that here. There are a few specific references to real-life events that occurred in South Korea during the 1990s. Look out for those. You're not going to miss them. They're important events in the film. And there is, a certain awkwardness and anxiety associated with growing up as a teenager. I think this movie captures those feelings and situations very nicely. In general, I think I really like coming-of-age films. They're just films that I gravitate towards, especially from South Korea and Japan, because they have a history of making some really good ones. And as a guy, it's always interesting seeing these films when they focus on girls, because it's coming from a perspective that's different from mine. A girl is going to have different experiences from a boy, especially growing up. And I feel that I'm actually learning something when I watch a movie like this, especially one that's this impressive in overall quality. I found the film to be emotionally impactful as well. Lead actress Ji-hoo Park is fantastic. This kind of film is heavily reliant on casting a good lead, and she is phenomenal. Her acting is so natural and convincing, really impressive. Definitely a talent to look out for in the future. I will be paying attention to what she does in the future. And we also have a new director to follow again, Bora Kim, House of Hummingbird is her debut film, which is kind of ridiculous. No one should be able to make a film this good the first time around. So the direction in this film is just outstanding. So now she is on my watch list. I'm very excited to see what she does next. So I strongly recommend House of Hummingbird. It's currently available to rent online at kinomarquee.com. I'll include a link in the description box below. Maybe a little expensive at like $12 a rental, but you can choose a movie theater to get a portion of your purchase to help out the movie theaters right now, so that's pretty cool. There is a Region A Blu-ray scheduled for release on August 4th in the United States, so look out for that if you want to wait for the physical copy. And I assume the streaming release on this will expand, to the usual sites, probably in the next few months, I would think. So check this one out. It's really good. And as always, we'll see you next time.